I did take a look, so.
Well, okay, you can, but keep it specific.
No, I agree, so if it gets approved, then we can make sure we get what he wants.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I hereby announce that this meeting is being held in accordance with Chapter 231 of the Open Public Meeting Act. Proper notice of this meeting dates have been given to the Morris News Beat, the Morris County Daily Record, and posted on the bulletin board in Borough Hall. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Doherty?
Present.
Mr. Druetzler?
Present?
Mr. Lombardi?
Present.
Mr. McAlear?
Present.
Ms. Stecker?
Present.
I ask for an approval of the minutes from the June 2nd, 2025 meeting.
I'll move them.
Second.
Moving forward.
Second, I'm sorry.
Moving forward, are there any comments from the public?
You gotta vote it, no.
Oh, sorry. Susan, a vote on the minutes, please.
Mrs. Doherty?
Yes.
Mr. Druetzler?
Yes.
Mr. Lombardi?
Yes.
Mr. McAlear?
Yes.
Ms. Stecker?
The minutes.
Yeah, I know, if I can't remember, I wasn't here, so I abstained. Sorry, I had to think for a minute.
You were there.
Oh, it's the other one I couldn't go, yes, I approved, sorry.
It's okay.
He-
Moving back to the comments from the public section. Councilwoman.
Hi, here is a resident,
Okay.
7 Hickory Drive. Sorry, new glasses.
I have an extra pair if you want.
Hello, everybody.
I know the feeling.
Yes, this is the way we live, there's 5 of these, and none of the other. Okay, so I'm here as a resident, I have a tree on my front property, and I wanna know the process I have. It is, I'm not sure if it's a town tree, so, because of the distance, I haven't measured, and I'm not sure how that measurement works. So I wanna see if someone can come out and take a look at it. It definitely has dead branches, and now in the last couple of weeks, it started leaning toward the wires and toward the street, kind of precariously. So I wanna find out, like, who would actually do that evaluation? Who would come and look at that tree?
So to understand the measurement from the curb, we could take a look at the measurement from the curb, so we could measure from the base of the tree to the curb.
Okay,
And if it falls within the 10 feet, we would put a memo through to have the forester evaluate the tree. I have John from DPW also take a look at the tree prior to the forester to see if they can do something prior to going to Greenwood.
okay, so. Hi, Sal.
Go ahead. Listen.
Well, the question that I have about that then is, so if the forester, you mean the person who, the contractor that we are contracted with to remove the trees and prune the trees?
Correct.
So shouldn't somebody else be doing that evaluation?
I
Other
have
than-
John take a look at it first if it's something that's concerning. If they could do it, they do it. If not, then it goes to the forester.
Sorry, guys.
So is John qualified to evaluate the tree, whether it needs to come down, whether it needs to be pruned or like maintained in some way that I don't know, like fed or?
Yes, John's gone through the training for the tree certifications, yes.
But is it up to date? Because online it's not. If you go online, there's nobody on the Shade Tree Commission that's currently up to date on their certifications for
Okay,
that.
I'll have to find out, where John's certification place. I'll get
Okay.
back to you on that.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Seeing as there's no one else from the public, I close the public section of the meeting. Moving forward to the budget, 63,127 remaining. I just want to add something to this. From where we were in the prior year to where we are now, year to date, we're at a savings of $14,000 from our new and re-strengthened partnership between the DPW, Shade Tree, and our Forestry.
Very nice.
Seeing as there's no communications, I move to the Forester's report.
We do have that communication from Langdon.
You wanna do that now or in new business?
We can do it after the Forester's report.
All right, going back to memo 2533, June 3rd, 34 Hawthorne, where a locust tree that's growing into the house and the wires needs to be pruned. It's a 24 to 36 inch prune. 2534, 19 Walsh Way, maple trees growing into the wires, so it needs to be pruned. That would be a 12 to 24 inch prune.
Just have a question about that, so, and it's not to you, Dave, it's to the commission. So, last time I, had a question about what we should do if a tree's in the wires, and, we talked a little bit about that, and I spoke with the JCP&L vegetation management person. He was really great and helpful. And I was told they have an online portal where residents can report if there is a tree in the wires. And he said that one of their arborists will usually respond in 48 hours for that. So my thought is that this should be the first step that we do before we do any line work. And then I think we as a commission have to decide, if JCP&L doesn't see the tree as a hazard to wires, what criteria are we using to determine that it is? And I think we need to have a rationale, because there are some residents who are very concerned about wires and we say, no, it's fine. And other residents who are, maybe we want to do that for, depending on what we see. The person from JCP&L did tell me that there's a little bit of a gray area sometimes when you're at the end of, I don't know if I'll use the proper terminology, the end of a circuit. So if something's at the end of a street, maybe it's not a priority for them. That might not mean it's not a priority for us. But I think we need to think about this a little bit more. And so I'm hoping that maybe when we have some of these memos about wires, we can first either ourselves refer, call JCP&L or ask the resident to do that.
Sure.
No,
That's a
it's
good.
good. I'm sorry, it's good because I have another memo that we do need GCP&L involved with, so it's perfect timing.
Yeah, maybe we could, if we could figure out a way to do that, I don't know, Mike, if you would do it or whoever, and we could get them all lined up so we wouldn't have to keep calling them, and we could just say, these are the ones we'd like you to look at for this month if residents have a question. I think the hard work on the other end is figuring out, what are we gonna say to the resident if JCP&L comes back and says, no, we don't think it's an issue. We need to have a policy on that written down somewhere about what we consider to be a hazard as our Shade Tree Commission and what we don't. And I don't remember seeing anything like that in our old community forest management plan. So I think that's something we need to put on our agenda as a commission.
Okay. And then the other thing with JCP&L, we have to determine if the communication wires or the power wires, and they'll come back to us because they will not do anything for communication wires on that. So, but again, I think that's a great way to go. Start with them, and then we'll kind of work down from there. Memo 2535, 51 Birch. DPW was able to take care of this. Memo 2536, 70 Littleton Road, is not a town tree. I believe you spoke to the resident already about that.
Correct, it's 11 and a half feet from the curb.
Okay, perfect. Memo 2537, 5 Malparters Road. I think we just need to clarify where the park ends there, where his property begins, because there is a tree in question, but it's right along, he has a stone wall there, a brick
And
wall.
the tree kind of sits like in the middle towards their side. I'll speak with the zoning officer to have him get out there and take a look at that.
Okay, perfect.
Can we just clarify, so that this is on the corner of Malapartis, right?
Yes,
Yeah, this is
In that little pocket park?
Correct. And this tree, if you're looking at that specific corner, if you're on the Malapartis side, that resident F5 has a concrete kind of stone wall going across the side of his property. And this tree kind of sits right in line with the wall. It kind of looks like they kind of might have gone around said tree because it is a larger tree.
Right.
So we'll have to have the zoning official look into that.
I just want to say, because I wasn't sure when I went there which tree it was, because
Yeah.
it just said tree, and there's a lot of trees
Trees
there,
in there,
so I
yes.
wasn't quite sure. There is a tree, I don't know if it's on municipal land, that looks to be almost dead, and it's a large tree in the other corner of the park, sort of catty corner from the house.
okay, so
On the-
backs up to the resident of Littleton then?
Yes, or on their side yard
Oh,
maybe.
sorry, okay, yeah.
And it's large, and it's one side, it's split, and one side of it is completely dead, and the other side is not. So I think we need to. I thought it was that tree, so maybe we need to do a memo for that
Yeah,
and find
we
out
could do
where
it.
that is. If it's
Okay,
on
yeah, let's do a memo,
municipal
I'll take a look.
property or not.
Okay, we'll have a memo put in for that.
Thank you. Memo 2538, 126 Brannis Avenue. There are two dead trees on the lot there. One's a 12 to 24 inch and one's a 24 to 36 inch. I don't believe we have to do the stumps on those.
Now, this is the tree that's in the attachment with the large branch that was hanging over.
Okay.
Is that behind their house? Where's the?
So there's
It's actually like next to their house.
Right next to the house, it's very close to the curb, right on the other side of the wires.
Okay.
And there's a major
No,
branch.
I saw that. I just went and looked and I couldn't find it, so I was confused.
So there's a long green strip that kind of goes there.
Uh-huh.
So if you're looking at the strip this way, it's right here.
All right. Look again.
2539 4 Cleveland Avenue. That is not on town property. Memo 2540, corner of Glenbrook and Mountain Way. DPW took down the maple tree. The stump, this needs to be ground. It's a 24 to 36 inch stump.
I have a question about this. So, was this an emergency? I didn't understand why this tree was removed before our meeting.
I think it was removed because it was expected that Glenbrook Road was gonna be paved. So since the DPW could get it cut down, to have Dave do the stump before you get to the paving, before you might disturb the curb by grinding the stump, or before you might have equipment to go on the new pavement and mark it up. They worked together and got it done.
So when is it going to be paved? Was it paved
Well,
today?
John said he thought it was gonna be, actually it was supposed to be paved in June, but supposedly it was supposed to start today, but I guess maybe because of the weather, I don't know when it's gonna start.
I think, it's important that we vote on things if they're not emergencies, if we can. If it's something like this and there's really a problem with the paving equipment, I think that, an email notifying us as to what's going on would be the proper thing to do.
This is a cooperation, I would think that you could trust people that work in the town to do it.
I didn't say I didn't
Okay?
trust
don't think
people who
it-
work in the
well,
town, Frank.
I know,
I never said
you
that.
obviously wanna have an email on it, and I don't think they have other things to do besides just sending it out.
So this memo was created
By
and then
Councilman.
been by Councilman Barone and
Yeah.
was communicated between him and John of DPW.
Okay, well, I think that I have no issue with the Councilman Bruins pointing out the tree. I looked at the tree before it was cut down. It looked like it may have been failing. However, we're the Shade Tree Commission. Our edict or our charge is that we are supposed to vote, discuss in front of the public, and vote before a tree is removed on public property. If it's an emergency situation or something else, then, send an email and say, hey, they're gonna pave this, does anyone have a problem with this? Or I just wanted to let you know, we decided this. But the business, I was told last time, needs to be done here in council. Well, it looks to me like it's not being done in council.
things get done sometimes after the fact. The
Well, who made that
council does
decision is
that,
what I'm asking.
everybody does that.
Who made the decision?
Huh?
Who made the decision to do that? It wasn't our broom didn't go and say, cut this tree down, I guarantee.
No, he didn't, John, I can say that I spoke to John, and John said they're gonna pave, and he said, should it be cut down? Yes, he's cutting down, because he knows something can happen from his experience, okay?
And they have concert there every Sunday.
I understand all this, but, you're one member of the commission, Frank. I can't do that unilaterally. It needs to have
I
some
didn't do
sort
it
of vote.
unilaterally, I spoke to the chairperson.
That's two
Okay.
people, that's not a quorum, right?
Okay, well then vote no on that one, okay, that's all
I
you
didn't
gotta do.
say I wanted to vote no.
no.
What I asked
Vote
is
no.
that when we,
Let's
before we,
just get bogged down in bureaucracy, Rob, let's do that.
I don't think following proper process is bureaucracy. I think it's transparency for the public, and it's what's supposed to be done. If it's an emergency situation or something else, just send people an email. That's all I'm saying. I walked by the thing, I spent my time, the next day it was gone. No one told me, I had no idea why it was gone. It's in my district. No one even emailed me. Doesn't seem that hard to do.
Memo 2541, 7 Crestview Court. The concerned tree's leaning, everything looks fine, there's no reason, we don't have to Shade Tree doesn't have to do anything with this tree at the moment. 2542, this is 44 Sylvan Drive. This should be put on the list for JCPM to look at. The tree is declining and the power wires are rubbing against the trunk and should be removed. 2543, looking to add some trees for planting. I think it's a good area and should add it to the list or for discussion in the fall. 2544, the end of Valley Stream Drive in the cul-de-sac, a dead tree, it should be removed. This is a 24 to 36 inch tree with no stump to be ground. 2545, this is 33 Oldwood Road, a dead tree along the street, 12 to 24 inch, no stump to be ground on that one as well. Trowbridge Road, opposite Overlook Trail, there are 2 dead trees, 2 dead locusts actually, one 12 to 24, one 24 to 36 inch for removal, no stump grinding. 2547, 34 Malpartis Road, should be 1 prune behind the property at 12 to 24 inches.
I just wanted to ask you, Dave, I looked in the property and clearly they need to be pruned there because they're almost touching the guy's back.
The back, that garage, yes.
And good for the resident, because I don't think anyone would have known if he had trimmed them, what it's like
Oh,
back
yeah.
there, so I appreciate his character of coming and asking us. There's a large dead tree there that looks like maybe it's covered in ivy, did you see that?
It is, I saw it.
I don't know if it's on our.
It turns out it's not, because I did question, because I thought it was ours, but we looked at the map and
Okay, all right.
it is not ours, but
Thank
yeah,
you for doing that.
I did see that. And that's what I thought the initial call was about, when I saw the
Me too, when I
address.
drove by, I read it.
And I looked at it, I said, oh, yeah, and then. 2548, 69 Sycamore, 69 Leamore. It's a dead tree along Sun Valley by the fire hydrant that DPW can remove. And we might want to follow up maybe next meeting, once they do that, if the stump needs to be ground.
Mhm.
2549, 30 Hawthorne Avenue. It's a locust tree. It's got a lot of dead limbs in it. It keeps falling over the street and the driveway, so it should be pruned out. This is a 24 to 36 inch prune. 2550, 10 Kozakowski. I didn't see any concerns. This tree's nowhere near the house. So,
Even rang the doorbell and no one came.
Yeah, but I don't know, if you see where electrical box is, and then
Yeah,
I don't see any issues,
no.
unless somebody else saw some. 2551, 5 Whitney. They're just calling about trees along the wood line there. I don't see that Shade Tree needs to get involved with anything over there. I don't know if anybody else saw it.
No, I don't think there's any issue there. It's well within the wood lot.
Mrs. Fosterman called twice today. She would like a call from either you or the chairperson,
Okay.
what's going to be done. This is the second time she's sent a memo.
Okay, I can call her.
She said the tree is leaning even more.
Okay.
2552, 53 Sylvan. This is a dead maple along the driveway. We were there doing another tree, and the homeowner pointed that one out. $25.33, stump grinding on the corner of Sylvan and Granite. DPW removed the dead tree. That's a 12 to 24 inch stump. And 2554, 59 Styles. They complained about stuff falling out of an oak tree, but the tree is really clean. I don't think we have to do anything with it. I mean, I saw 1 or 2 little pieces, but does not warrant us going into it. And then I think the last, it wasn't a memo, but it was a follow-up on the worksheet at Court Road Park, that pine tree. So we went up, we looked at it. There is a cavity in the tree, but I think we can cut the tree back and reduce the weight of the canopy. I don't think we have to jump the gun and start taking that tree down. But there's definitely is some decay that we gotta take some weight out of it.
Great.
And I think that's everything. If I missed anything, please let me know.
No, that is it for the memos and the work from the worksheet. So in total, I ask for a motion to approve this amount of $82.80.
So moved.
Second.
Moving towards old business.
Got a roll call.
Vote.
Susan, roll call please.
Mr. Rohde?
Yes,
Mr. Druetzler?
Yes.
Mr. Lombardi?
Yes.
Mr. McAlear?
I'm gonna vote yes. I just wanna add a comment, which is that I would like to see our work, and us to work with Dave to figure out if we could break down a prioritization of some of these. I know we're doing well in the budget, and compared to where we were last year. I think that one of the things that we have been asked to do by the council, I know Joan Goddard had mentioned it last year, is to have a prioritization system. So I think that, going forward, maybe we have 2 months off, maybe Mike, I'd be happy to work with you and Dave and see if we could figure out a way to do that, whether it's, I know the ISA has like that tree matrix, risk assessment matrix, or some version of that we might be able to use in order to sort of classify, how important things are, and then maybe we could, the things that are lower priority, that would allow us to save money for them towards the end of the year.
Okay, so wait a minute. You're gonna, a resident complains, and you're gonna go there, and you don't think it's that important, and you're gonna tell the resident, you're not that important, or you're that much risk, so we can't take care of this now. I think when a person calls in, they should be addressed. I think that's our job here, to take care of the residents. That's, I'm sure the governing body wants us to take care of the residents. That's what they get elected for. So if they call in and we find out that work has to be done, I would think we will look at it and we will do it. If we can put it off, we put it off. We had a complaint just on that last one on the corner of Court Road. We said, we don't have enough money, we'll put it on the list and we'll do it next year. And so here we are. I mean, we do that.
Right, so another way of looking at taking care of the residents would be to be more thoughtful about the way that we're spending their tax dollars. And a way to do that would be to classify the work that we're doing according to its importance. So I don't think that it's fair to say I'm not in favor of taking care of the residents. It's a different set of values or different priorities. I'm not saying we wouldn't do work that Dave deemed was something that was an emergency or hazardous, but I think that when it comes to pruning dead wood out of trees, that maybe that could wait until we have, a better idea of what our budget's gonna be for the year.
I think that, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, Rob, what is your concern if there is an issue, right? I get it, there's a risk to the public, there's all different types of risks, right? And then you have the resident. If the money's in the budget, the forester, DPW, we all agree that the work should be done, why do we need to wait on it? Like, I'm trying to understand why you're wanna heavily rely on that matrix if we know the work has to be done.
Right, well, I didn't talk about heavily relying, I think you're putting words in my mouth or framing things there. What I did say is that I think that we need to have some sort of system of prioritization. Why, the question you're asking? Because we've had budget overruns for at least the last 2 years that I've been here. And we might have thought about, okay, well, why are we going $20,000, $25,000 over a $100,000 budget? There may be work that we can put off. We might be able to do things differently. So by prioritizing things that can show us that we don't end up in that situation where at the end of the year we have an emergency where we need to take down trees that are leaning over playgrounds in the park and we've spent all our money doing pruning.
Yeah, but
As far as I understood, one of Mike's goals for this year was to lower our pruning costs, and I think he's done a good job of doing that. I do have some concerns about the fact that we're not doing any kind of systematic pruning, but I'm just one member in the commission, so other people can vote against it. To me, it seems like prioritizing the work. It's also the way that it's done in the 2014 plan. If you go in there and look, you'll see that there's 3 levels that work is prioritized at, so that also seems to align with best practice. I'm happy to do more research and try to find out about, we could talk
But I
about other shade tree
understand,
commission.
I just think that we have to give, I don't know what's in the matrix, right, cause I can't remember off the top of my head, but there's gotta be a resident component of the matrix that's added into it. It can't just, my preference would be, it can't just be about risk and, what the risk is. It also has to be a resident component of this as well, because we wanna do the work in a timely fashion as well. We don't want someone complaining about something in January. Next thing you know, we're like, well, it's November, maybe we can get to it now. I think that's gotta be added into that, so I would just ask, if you're gonna work on a draft of something, that be taken into consideration, that other element.
I think Dave would know better than me here, but I believe that risk matrix, or the ones I've seen, they have, one bar is for, if the thing fell, basically, how much damage it's gonna do, but another one is, what's the likelihood that this is going to happen? And so I think that would be the sense of urgency that you're talking about that would be included.
Yeah, time also plays into that as well, right? When you have a drought, right, something might look fine, it might be iffy, and then we go through the drought of the summer, and then all of a sudden, it's gotta be taken out. So point in time, it would be interesting to see how this works out, because I don't know that point in time, it's a good initial barometer, but I think it's something that's gotta be looked at continually through the course of the year, especially if it's getting put off.
And Rob, we did go over the budget because we weren't planning on the ash borer disease, we weren't planning on the beetles to invade, and the drought. Dave said the drought was gonna affect us, and it has. We've had a drought now for 2 years. So that's why we went over the budget, because I was chairman, I like to defend myself. I didn't waste it on a Christmas party.
Well, let me tell you, why are we saving money? Because we've asked Dave he used to go around and he used to say, well, this should be pruned and that should be pruned. And right now, we're just doing, if you see something or I see something or the resident calls, we take care of it. We're not doing ahead of the curve, proactive pruning, okay? We're not doing that now, and that will probably catch up. And if you go to the last Community Forestry Management Plan, and look, I will just read one sentence. The management goal of any municipal shade tree program would be to prune the entire tree population on at least a 10-year rotational cycle. Okay? So you can try to cut all the money you want. But if you don't do it, when you have that crisis, you'll see what a crisis is when you have a big storm if you don't do it properly. And we're not doing the 10-year pruning cycle this year. We aren't, because we're trying to cut the budget. And so, but that is okay, you can do that for a year, but down the road, it's gonna catch up to you.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we would have to have a longer discussion about pruning, but I agree with you, we should be doing rotational pruning. And I agree with you, when I read that, that's a lot of trees, and it even says in there that, you know, that's gonna be a big outlay. So we'd have to think about that. That's part of the reason, later in the evening, I wanna talk about why I think we should get a new plan, to help us think about how to budget for those things. So I'll vote yes.
Is that the last one?
Ms. Stecker,
Yes.
There's still a vote on the floor, right?
No,
No, it's done?
it's not. This is for Forester's report just passed. Moving forward to old business.
I'm sorry, Mike, I just have a question to go back to our conversation in May. Did you talk to DPW to get a record of the trees that they removed this year?
Yes, they're working on a record for me.
Okay, when you get that, can we update the worksheet, because it still says 4 trees there?
Sure.
Thanks.
I would like Michael, talk about this communication we had from Wagon Engineering. As you know, they built warehouses on 53, and one of the things was they were supposed to put trees on the avenue. So they've been, I guess, nudged a little bit, and they presented a plan to put 18 trees on that avenue. We sent them a letter in 2023 requesting trees, and they are putting trees, they're putting a little different trees than what we normally put. They were gonna put ivy, silk, Japanese tree, lilac trees there, which are beautiful trees. And I would like to make a motion, hopefully get a second, if people want to discuss it, we can, move that Chairman Lombardi shall communicate to Langdon Engineering that we accept their planting, and that they should request that they proceed with this planting, with this project. Is there a second?
Second. That's me.
You see the tree drop down here?
Yeah, I mean, I had no awareness of this before this meeting. I've never seen this. They're not gonna be planting until the fall anyway, right? Presumably?
Well, that's the best time to plant, but they said they need to get their forester geared up to make sure he has those trees. And I don't see why there's any holdup. Normally they wouldn't, except instead of putting pear trees, they're putting these other trees. And a lot of people think that's a good thing. Some people don't, but we're gonna see if we can try it. I mean, the picture of the trees, absolutely beautiful.
So can I ask, is this was this like under a contract or a plan that has already been approved to plant white flowering trees so that we wouldn't have a say in what kind of trees as long as they're white flowering?
Requesting the Chanticleer pear, white flowering trees. Okay, that's what's on the rest of the avenue. Here is a strip with nothing. And so they now come back to the shade tree to ask, basically, can we plant these trees as opposed to Chanticleer pear? I have no problem with it. I think they're great trees. They look wonderful. And I think it'll improve the area. We've got 18 more trees, costing the town $0.
So I'm not saying I'm against this at all, just this looks like this memo was received July 9th. and I had never seen it before I walked in here.
No one has until tonight.
I'd like a little bit of time to,
It was only received in the office on Thursday. Had I sent it and mailed it to everyone, because I can't scan it, you may not have gotten it in time for the meeting. So I spoke to Mr. Lombardi, who said, please bring it to the meeting for the shade tree to review.
thank you.
Well, I think you should approve it myself. If you don't approve it, you're gonna, go wait till September. You have no other meeting till September. You may not get the trees planted, okay? You want to plant trees? I'm here to plant trees. That's why I'm on the shade tree commission.
What's your objection?
We need to take a roll call.
I mean, I don't like to vote on things that I just see. I haven't had time to look at the plan. I haven't had time to prepare. I don't know anything about the species of tree.
The thing is, they were gonna put in the trees anyway, they're just saying, instead of those trees, want these trees. That's the decision. Are you okay with, the only decision is, are we okay with them swapping out the trees that they had?
That's what I was trying to ask Frank. So this is already decided in the site
Correct.
plan that it's white flowering
Correct.
trees?
Correct.
Correct.
They're
Okay.
just asking to
Well, there's nothing we can change
No.
that anyway
No.
legally because it's already approved.
Right.
Okay, thanks for clarifying.
Yep.
This is the tree, if anybody can,
What's the name again?
Is it an invasive species in New Jersey? As I'm Googling it.
No, it's a Japanese lilac?
Yeah,
Japanese lilac?
Yeah.
it's not invasive.
My Google says it is.
Ivory silk lilac?
Yeah. It's not native, right?
There, you can look at it. You want to look at the plan?
Sure. No? Okay, okay.
Chris, I can't pull this up to see.
Susan, so since there was a motion and a second, can you take a roll call on this, please?
Mrs. Doherty,
Yes.
Mr. Druetzler,
Yes.
Mr. Lombardi,
Yes.
Mr. McAlear,
Abstain.
Mrs. Decker.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, I do have another motion I would like to put on the table here.
Sure.
I'd like to move that Chairman Lombardi shall meet with the borough grant writer and request that he apply for a New Jersey Urban and Community Forest Management Plan Green Acres Community Grant.
Is this my old business motion, Frank, that you're putting forward?
I don't know whether it's your old business motion or not. It's a little different than yours, this other one that's here, but I moved it. If there isn't a second, I guess it dies.
Second. Susan will need a roll call for this one as well.
Mrs. Doherty,
Yes.
Mr. Druetzler,
Yes.
Mr. Lombardi,
Yes.
Mr. McAlear,
I don't know what I'm even voting on because I was never told about this.
Basically, we talked about it last time, Rob. You even put a motion on it similar to that motion that I guess you put on here. I don't know. Last time, I didn't have I didn't get this until after the meeting. Once I saw it, it was the same, similar, if not exactly the same thing that was done maybe 8, 10 years ago. And I think it's a good thing to do, and I'm glad you brought it up.
Well, great, thanks. Well, if that's what we're voting on, I think the name of the grant is the Green Communities Grant, technically, just so we're clear on that. I believe
So what?
it's a green community grant, but
I
it's
did
for
say-
the,
I did say that.
it's for the management plan.
Yeah.
Green Acres Community.
Urban and Community Forestry Management Plan Green Communities Grant.
Great, as long as it's the same grant I proposed last time, then
I think it is.
I will vote yes.
Mrs. Decker,
Yes.
Seeing as the old business section is closed, I move on to new business. Does anyone have any new business?
I do have new business here in that it falls under the our reports. strike out one tree at Sunset Road and put in 15 Sunset Road. And I think you should also put in 11 Birch, not as an alternate, but as it definitely needs it.
You said Sunset Road, 15?
15 Sunset Road. 11 Birch Drive.
Moving from alternatives to the
Correct.
suggested planting list. Okay.
And also add 5 Beach Drive, if you remember the resident came at our last meeting. And we had cut the tree down there. That tree is under the wire, so you keep that in consideration. And add also 52 Glenbrook Road. That's the one that Rob said was a dead tree. And the road guys removed that dead tree.
Was it not dead, Frank? I thought it was dead. It was dead, right?
And it's as dead as can be.
Okay.
I know you
So
were
for,
right.
for this one, we'll just have to, since that was in an area we don't plant
52.
anymore, we'll have to make sure it's on the other side of the strip.
Right.
We'll have to measure a 10-foot radius and ensure we can get that in.
So we got all that, Sue?
As long as we're on that, Mary, can I just ask about the trees that you said you wanted to plant on the corner of J.Quai? Could you just tell me I went and looked, but I just wasn't quite sure exactly where you were
The
thinking.
ugly strip, that's all we
There's
use
nothing there.
on the side of Laboratory.
The parking, like, next to the.
No.
Right.
Well, there's 2 areas. If you make a left or whatever right onto J-Line, there's a whole strip. I think we planted 1 tree there maybe before.
Right.
There's a whole strip that's barren. There's also, depending on where you wanna place the trees, on the further down, there was a tree that was taken out of there, that the stump is there. That's also another planting area that's available. I think it's definitely 2 trees.
There were 2 trees removed, and the question is who removed them, and I did speak to Don Salerno, whether he could figure out who removed them,
Oh,
that they should put them
yeah,
back.
so it's a big wide open space that would actually look nice to have some trees over there. It's heavily trafficked.
So you think the landlord removed them?
I don't know who removed them.
Any other new business?
I just wanna ask if we approve the application for this grant, how that process is going to work, right? Because we can approve it, but then who is going to do what or whatever needs to be considered at some point? So maybe we don't need to have that discussion right now, but it needs to be on the agenda that we're actually moving forward with this. Someone needs to talk to the grant writer.
Sure, so I'll speak to the grant writer and get an understanding on what we officially need from the shade tree, and that'll move on to new business for our September meeting.
And I have some rough estimates that I got from a couple contractors, if they would be helpful. I can be happy to share those.
Sure,
so.
please share them with me, thank you. Anything else for new business? Seeing that there's none, I ask for a motion to adjourn this meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you, everyone, and see you in September 8th at 5:30. Thank you.
Thanks, Dave.
See you guys. Take care, sir.
Take care, Dave, good to see you. Good job. Good job, everybody.
Yeah, I think